trust in the US media is at historic lows, and it's because of hysteria like this. Here are just some of the headlines spruiking the lie that Donald Trump has declared there will be a bloodbath if he loses the next election. The New York Times even suggested this signals a doomsday vision of the United States. But listen to what he actually said and what he was referring to. He's being very specific.
Mexico has taken, over a period of 30 years, 34% of the automobile manufacturing business in our country. Think of it, went to Mexico. China now is building a couple of massive plants where they're going to build the cars in Mexico and they think that they're going to sell those cars into the United States with no tax at the border. Let me tell you something to China. If you're listening, President Xi, and you and I are friends, but he understands the way I deal, those big monster car manufacturing plants that you're building in Mexico right now, and you think you're going to get that, you're going to not hire Americans, and you're going to sell the cars to us. Now, we're going to put a 100% tariff on every single car that comes across the line, and you're not going to be able to sell those cars. If I get elected, now, if I don't get elected, it's going to be a bloodbath for the whole, that's going to be the least of it. It's going to be a bloodbath for the country. That'll be the least of it. But they're not going to sell those cars. They're building massive factories.
He was talking about cars, the car industry, a bloodbath in the car industry, not a bloodbath in the streets if he's not elected. Joining me now is the host of Prime Time with Alex Stein, the man himself, Alex Stein. Alex, I remember the riots and destruction when Trump was elected in 2016. His inauguration in 2017 saw massive violent protests, but we're supposed to pretend January 6th was the worst violence that DC has seen and that he's threatening literal bloodshed.
Well, Rita, obviously they want to try to spin this and make Donald Trump seem like a villain, which is, all the media ever does. But on a serious note, you look at Detroit, Michigan was an iconic city, and when it lost its automotive manufacturing, it totally failed. And Donald Trump is being very honest when he says that if we lose our automotive manufacturing in America, we're going to crumble just like Detroit. So he was just using the dictionary definition, talking about a financial issue and using it in a financial way, not a physical, blood, violent way like the media wants to spin it.
And the media, Alex, were also spreading more disinformation, claiming that Trump called migrants not human, not people. You can see the headlines again, everyone from a Daily Mail to the New York Times. But again, let's listen to what he actually said.
If I had prisons that were teeming with MS-13 and all sorts of people that they've got to take care of for the next 50 years, right? Young people, they're in jail for years, if you call them people. I don't know if you call them people. In some cases, they're not people, in my opinion, but I'm not allowed to say that because the radical left says that's a terrible thing to say. They say you have to vote against him because did you hear what he said about humanity? I've seen the humanity, and these are bad, these are animals, okay? And we have to stop it. We can't have another Lakin.
Alex, he's talking about MS-13 gangbangers who are in prison, and yet the media claims in just about every headline we're looking at that Trump said migrants are not people. Clearly, they are terrified of the recent polls showing Trump is winning huge numbers of migrants, including the majority of Hispanics, according to a recent New York Times poll.
Well, Rita, the reason why this immigration issue is such a big deal is because the cartel is sending criminals up here. I mean, some people are sure they're probably coming here for a better life, but the majority of people are paid by coyotes to be smuggled across, sex traffickers and drug traffickers. And when they get caught, Rita, they don't have to face the same judicial system that I would as an American citizen. They get to go to ICE, Immigration, Customs, and Enforcement, and go right back to Mexico. So we have a two-tier justice system that doesn't prosecute illegal immigrants the same as they do as American citizens. So everything Donald Trump is saying is just based in fact, but the media wants to cover that up and not live in reality and wants to live in some world where America can just solve all the crises in South America, which is not the truth. And then if you just saw, we just had a Hezbollah terrorist just come up through the border saying that he wants to go to New York and make bombs. So this isn't just Venezuelans or South Americans coming to America for a better life. This is a controlled demolition of American greatness, and it starts really at the border.
Now, we played a little bit of this next clip last week, but we're going to play a bit more of it here. I'm going to play it first and ask you about it. It's you in New York with your wife's boyfriend, Dontarius, causing havoc.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're here in New York City at the Roosevelt Hotel with my wife's boyfriend. We're going to try to get him a free hotel room for the night because the migrants should not get priority over my wife's boyfriend. Let's see what they say. Oh, we're here trying to get him a room.
No, you cannot. Yo,
We're trying to get him a room.
don't let him in the building, bro. Hey, don't let him in.
Hey, we're trying to get a room. We need a free room for him. No, wait. We need a room for him. Yeah, no, I know he. Wait, why not? No, we gotta get a room. Hey, dude, he's not gonna cook any rats. He's not gonna cook any rats like these Venezuelans.
Alex, let's start with the rats. Are they really roasting rats in New York? And did Dontarius in the end get some accommodation, some food, get any sort of freebies that are reserved for the illegal immigrants?
No, and Rita, I'm just a goofball comedian, but the whole reason that we did that is to show the hypocrisy that you can say that you're a Venezuelan immigrant and you get a $500 hotel room in the most expensive city in America, New York City. But if you're a homeless person and struggling, you get absolutely no care whatsoever. So really, if we're going to talk about the rats, that's a real thing. That's not the only video. There's multiple videos all through the Bronx, all throughout New York City, where they're literally cooking rats on the street. And that is unsanitary. Somebody's going to get sick. So I just try to do these stunts as a way to just try to expose the hypocrisy that there's a lot of struggling Americans, and a lot of them are vets. Our military vets are treated so poorly. And if we treated our military vets like we treated the illegal immigrants that came across our country would be a much better place. But instead, they know, the people that are in power, the Biden administration knows that they can supplant conservative voters with liberal illegal immigrants to vote on their side. So this is a controlled demolition. Like I said earlier, this isn't just some accidental plan. This is 100% trying to subvert America and controlling America and letting it go into the hands of illegal immigrants.
Alex Stein, your stunts always have a deeper message, but they're just hilarious as stunts as well. We always love speaking with you. Thank you so much for your time this evening.